Hi, my name is Marta Nyson, and this is my Communities project. I chose Discuss Cooking as my online community. Discuss Cooking is an online community for amateur and expert chefs alike. The community aims to provide a place for anyone and everyone to discuss and share different aspects of cooking, including recipes, good kitchen practices, useful tools, brands that they like to use, etc. Members are from all over the world, though the vast majority are from the United States. Generally, it seemed like a lot of the people were middle-aged females, but I also did see a number of males, and there were definitely some younger people. According to the member list, there are approximately 32,000 members, but when I looked a little closer, a large amount of those members are inactive, so they can't really be counted. There is a ton of off-topic activity with people discussing everything from funny jokes to TV shows to their pets. You name it, they've got it. It surprised me that there was so much of this, and I was even more surprised when a fellow member suggested that going to the off-topic boards would be better for my project. It didn't really make sense since I had wanted to join a cooking community for the cooking aspect, not for the off-topic boards. The one thing that did make sense about her suggestion is that there is less activity on the off-topic boards than the regular cooking boards, which would make conversations a bit easier to have. Surprisingly, it took me a very long time to find the rules for the community. They are definitely not out in the open, which made me think that they weren't that big of a deal on this site. I eventually found a link to them at the bottom of the page in pretty small font. The rules highlight the basics of being courteous. They don't want personal attacks, rude, or explicit messages. Trolling and cyberstalking are also frowned upon, and if you're caught, your account can be restricted or banned. The rules also say they don't want discussions about religion or politics, which makes sense because those topics can often end up in argument. Now, based on these rules, I have to say I really didn't see any problems. Given the demographic and the subject matter, I just feel like there wouldn't be too many people getting angry or rude, though I'm sure it has happened. There are moderators for specific forums and administrators for boards. They have an active role in discussions with other members, but I never saw an issue arise that they would have to deal with, so I would say the community is moderated when needed, which isn't often. If there are particular members that bother you and you don't want to see their posts or receive private messages, you can add them to your ignore list, which is pretty easy to find through your user settings. You can also find report links in many places throughout the site, and these links allow you to alert the board staff if you find anything offensive. Reputation is also a way of rating users depending on the quality of their posts. You can rate them as positive, negative, or neutral. One thing I really liked and found particularly useful were sticky threads. Sticky threads are created by moderators or administrators and remain stuck to the top of a thread. Their purpose is to keep important information visible and accessible for members at all times. I would say the community has a strong relationship to real life. While people may be conversing online, any ideas or information they're getting from fellow members play a direct part in their life, whether it be in the form of a meal they're preparing or a product they will buy. This community is for people to talk about, but then actually take the information and apply it to their lives. Upon reading some of the threads, it seems like some people know each other better than others. I wouldn't say this directly implies that people post identifying information, but I also think that there is definitely a feeling of persistent identity on this site. It's a cooking site, so no one's really embarrassed or feels like they need to be someone else. As for the people that know each other better, I would assume it's just members that have been there longer. The community was very inviting and were keen to answer any questions I had. I started my own thread one day asking people about any good recipe books they had recently tried, and I got many responses. Not just one-word answers either. Some people had paragraphs. Members of this community are eager to help in any way they can, and many are willing to share their own experiences, which can definitely be helpful if you're not as much of a cook. For me, I'm just curious to learn new things, and so that's why I liked this community. There's something for everyone, and it is not solely for experts or for beginners, but for the general audience. Needless to say, I didn't love it. I found that there's so much activity that sometimes it's hard to follow the conversation. While some of the subject matter proves to be interesting, I find there's just too much going on to be able to really participate. I will stay, but not as an active member. It's a useful site, but unlike some of the other members, I just don't have the time to be on every day and participating in forums constantly. So I'll be going on whenever I need any cooking advice or recipe ideas. Thanks for watching!